Hi guys. So this is a little belated because it's already the third, but in true Starling train wreck fashion, I'm just getting to it now. I wanted to do a look back on 2019 and a look forward to 2020. Rain did a video, uh, did something similar, and I thought it was really cool. And I thought it was a really great way to appreciate everything that's come in the past year and give you guys an idea of where I hope to be headed in the future. Something that I have been bad about in general is being really intentional with my streams and with my content and with my schedule. And so this is a tiny step in the direction of more intentionality in the future. 2019 was a banner year. 2018 was my first year streaming, and I was reeling from the loss of a lot of friends and a marriage and my job and my house. And so I got myself into a situation that was really unhealthy and took a huge toll on the stream. By the end of 2018, I wasn't streaming at all. I was streaming maybe a couple times a month, and I missed it a lot. And so 2019 was amazing because it was the year that I moved home and got out of that really bad situation and learned so much about myself in the process. I participated in Dare to Duet, I think 6 times as a captain and competitor, maybe 7. And through Dare to Duet, I met this incredible community of other Twitch Sings streamers and people who played the game who really cared about me as a person and who showed me, both through the competition itself and through the after parties, that I deserved better than what I was allowing myself to have. And that was huge. It changed everything. It reminded me of who I really am, underneath all of the anxiety and all of the depression, underneath all of my history and all of my failures. There is a powerful girl who is covered in glitter and ready to rock and roll. And I directly owe Dare to Duet and Felicity and TC so much, and for so much, for so many of the good things that came after that experience. I owe them in large part for finding the happiness that I did with Rain, because if I hadn't become the person that I became because of Dare to Duet, I wouldn't have been ready for him. And I owe them a lot for getting me to the place I needed to be in order to be on the Twitch front page, which I think was a huge milestone, just an extraordinary honor. The people who play Twitch Sings, I think, have been lucky because so many of us have been put on the front page in order to promote the game. But Twitch front pages are not easy to come by. They are few and far between, and they're usually reserved for like big events and things. So the fact that I was able to stream what I loved and do the pool and the harpooning and put other people's faces on the front page, to 60,000 total viewers over the course of a few hours, 3,000 concurrent viewers at once. It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. I cannot believe that I was able to do something like that in my lifetime. So I'm so grateful that that was something that we were able to make happen. And I am so grateful to the Twitch Sings devs for seeing something in me that they wanted to promote. I have spent the majority of 2019 pouring my heart and soul into Twitch Sings and the Twitch Sings community, and haven't always gotten back what I feel I've deserved. But that was an extraordinary honor that I will never forget. Another huge milestone was going to TwitchCon. TwitchCon was absolutely surreal. I showed up and didn't know if people would recognize me, if I should like wear a name tag. I didn't have to introduce myself to a single person. I met so many people that I'd been singing with for months, and they were all exactly like what I expected them to be. I was able to meet all of these people from Dare to Duet, this community that changed my life, and and they were so radical. They were so amazing. I was able to meet people that I have respected and admired for a long time. I met Lara6683, who was one of the first big streamers who rated me when I first started streaming. And I remember I wasn't planning on going to her like meet and greet, but I just happened to see that it was starting in like 10 minutes. And so I told her, I'm just going to get in line, and, she probably won't remember me, but we like DM on Twitter every once in a while, and she's super feminist and super outspoken, and I just love her. And she's one of the women on the internet that I have admired the most in the past few years. And so I'm standing in line, and I like the guy in front of me like barely steps aside, and Lara's like, "Starling," and she remembered me, and it was like talking to an old friend, instead of like this person that I, have admired for. I expected it to be a very like fan and streamer interaction, and she talked to me like a peer, and it meant so much. I was able to meet so many of the people from the music performing arts community, which is where I got started on Twitch, and that was extraordinary because I had been away from that directory and not streaming in that category for so long. And so to meet Megan Lenius and Sam Tucker Young and Mermaid Unicorn and all of these, and Nerendipity, these phenomenal singers that I have loved and respected for so long, it was just, I'm repeating myself, but I cannot emphasize enough how surreal it all was. I mean, I remember like getting out of an Uber outside the Twitch Sings official party and like hearing somebody in line go, "It's Starling." And I was like, what is happening? I felt like a celebrity. And it was just one of the most wholesome and joy-filled weekends of my life. So I'm so grateful that the community, the Twitch Sings community, our community, was so kind and generous in making the miracle stream happen. I have a huge shout out to Mezzo Soprano Child for kind of getting that train started, and to everyone who donated and threw biddies that night to completely change the course of my life. I have no words. And on that note, meeting Rain was so unexpected, and I would be remiss if I didn't talk about him in my 2019 recap, because not only was it a huge personal development, meeting the love of my life, but he single-handedly completely changed the nature of my stream. The front page wouldn't have been what it was if he hadn't come out to Indiana and completely reworked my setup, and introduced the standing sitting sort of switch, and helped me with my audio, and given me the idea to use the sort of overlays that I used, that I redesigned based on the ones that he was using. So he, when I moved here, he gave me 3 of his colored hue lights, and he gave me like colored floodlights, and he bought me a housewarming gift. Who buys a housewarming gift for their new living girlfriend? But he bought me a new mixer, so that I could like hook everything up and have reverb and have compression, which I really super need all the time. So with that new relationship came new tech and basically a new stream, and I feel like I have gotten so much closer to being the streamer that I want to be, and to delivering the kind of content that I want to deliver. I mean, just look at this. Like, I'm streaming to you on this new beautiful camera that he bought for me, which he could not afford, but bought anyway because he knew it would make me happy, and that I had wanted it for so long. And I'm sitting in this room that feels like my sanctuary. I spend hours in here, and I'm just so blissfully happy because like what you see, this is like, it actually looks this pretty all the time. And it's so wonderful to have a place in my house that feels cozy and warm and safe. Even when I've had stream rooms before, they were never exactly what I wanted them to be. I really didn't feel like they captured who it is that I really am. And so I owe Rain so much for helping me get to this point. So 2019 was a year of, I don't even know, growth for sure, personally and professionally. We're still, because of my lack of consistency, which we'll get to in a little bit, because of my lack of consistency, I'm still at about 30 average viewers, which is the same average that I had like 2 years ago. But I think that that number doesn't capture everything that has developed in the last 2 years. It doesn't capture the community we've created, the place where people can come and feel safe to be themselves, not just when they sing. I mean, that was a huge thing. The pool parties, I think, are so important to me because they hopefully give people a place where they can feel vulnerable and feel safe, showing something to the world that they haven't done before, they haven't shown people before, and being radically vulnerable, being completely authentic in a way that you're not typically allowed to be on the internet. And I think that hopefully going forward, that's something that will never be lost, that will always be an integral part of the stream and the content that I'm creating. Wow, this is 11 minutes long already. Dang, I didn't mean to be this long-winded. So anyway, moving on. Goals for 2020. I don't set New Year's Eve or New Year's resolutions on principle. I do not set New Year's resolutions. However, I'm not opposed to looking forward and trying to be intentional about where we go from here. So something that I'd like to focus on in the coming year is giving back to the community more and involving the community more. I think that the last year has been a crazy mess of ups and downs. And so I spent a large part of it just trying to survive. I've been in survival mode, but I'm not in survival mode anymore. I mean, I've got a lot going on with my family that's weighing heavy on my heart in the background. But when I'm on stream, I think that I'd like to spend more time doing community games and involving people who show up time and time again, night after night. So one of those things is that I'd like to do at least once a month a community game night for patrons and subs. At least prioritizing patrons and subs. I tend to always, include people who are not subbed as well, if we have the room for it. But I really like to make sure that I recognize the people who are like supporting me, month after month. And I miss the times like the days when we would do Jackbox games, or we do community Overwatch, or some other game that everybody owns. So I'd like to do that at least once a month. On a similar note, something that the old guard will remember from the very early days of the stream is mod squad nights. After I'd log off the stream, me and the mods would hop on Fortnite or on Overwatch or whatever game, and just stick around and play games for the rest of the night. And whether it's late at night after Rain's gone to bed and we're all hanging out, or maybe it happens in place of a stream, I'd really like to do one night where I just kick it with the mods in like a voice channel, and we play video games and dick around and get to spend some time together, because I really, really miss Mod Squad, like, a lot. The next thing that I'd like to be really intentional about in the coming year is diversifying my content. I think you've all probably noticed by now that I started a Patreon, and in the Patreon, one of the perks is that any YouTube content that I release, the patrons will see early. They'll get a sneak preview of, or early access. And I think that we live in a hustle culture these days. And seeing as I work from home, and I've been, editing manuscripts for Fiverr, and I've been doing Twitch, my income is, I'm a freelancer. Like that's the whole deal, right? And so the more ways that I can diversify that income and be pulling from different sources and different, because people are looking to engage with content in different ways. They are looking for different types of content, different platforms. And so there is going to be a different audience looking to support or, consume YouTube content than there are people on Twitch, right? There is tons of overlap, but they are disparate audiences. So I'd like to be really intentional about diversifying and posting more content on YouTube. I have a ton of thoughts that I actually have spent a long time waiting. I didn't want to make these like vlog or like opinion style videos because I wanted to get this really nice camera and I didn't want to like waste a video idea on a like crappy looking making a crappy looking video with like a crappy webcam. I don't know. I just was like waiting and waiting and waiting. And so now I can go forward with all of these things. So look forward to a lot more opinions, and a lot more informational type videos. I have a bunch of series in mind, or different video topics in mind. So I'm really looking forward to that. Patreon is going to be a big thing going forward in the new year. Monthly music covers, monthly poems, monthly alludes with a twist. Alludes with a train wreck twist, which I think you'll all enjoy, because if you were just getting like picture perfect modelly Starling, it would be really awkward and unnatural and not very on brand for me. So I'm super, super looking forward to making those photo sets. And big props to Rain, because the idea was genius. With deep cuts, I'm going to continue doing deep cuts, although I feel like pulling away from the Twitch Sings community a little bit lately. There's just a lot going on, and the more that I try to help preserve the ethical integrity, whatever that means, of the game and of its community, the more I feel like I'm beating my head against a brick wall. And there are a million reasons for that would require a entirely different and much longer video. But deep cuts is so close to my heart, and regardless of any sort of like political what have you in the community, regardless of whether or not the devs see the good, intentions and the incredible potential of the show, I think it has to keep going. It is a much needed showcase in the community, and I would be heartbroken to part with it. So more deep cuts going forward. Although I really, really hope, my hope for deep cuts is that we are able to showcase the same type of people that we showcase every week, but with a much larger audience. I would love for deep cuts to be on the front page in 2020. Putting that in the universe. And then finally, TwitchCon 2020. We're definitely going. We gotta go, guys. We gotta go. If you didn't go to TwitchCon 2019, and you think even a little bit that you might have fun, or that you might enjoy it, or that you'd want to meet me, or whether or not you play Twitch Sings or not, it is, oh my god, such a fun experience. So I haven't given a ton of thought to it, but I might be interested in doing some sort of meetup for people in the Starling community, people that I know. I don't know, you guys. And so, but regardless, there are tons of meetups, there are tons of events, karaoke, what have you, and I've got to go. So TwitchCon 2020 will be definitely something that we are planning for going forward. I didn't really plan this video out super well, so I don't have a ton more plans for 2020 that are like set in stone and written down, because again, I don't really do New Year's resolutions. I guess a new one is going to be playing with the new makeup. As you can tell, I've been having fun with the makeup that Zombie Girlie sent me, and I'd really like to spend a little time at the beginning of each stream putting together a new look, or trying something new with the makeup. I feel like it could be fun. I have no idea what I'm doing, and I gotta buy brushes, but thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for seeing me through all of the hardship that I've been through, for putting up with the train wreck and loving me anyway, for being there even when I wasn't, for understanding every time I've had to cancel a stream, for everybody and every dollar that has gone toward everything. Thank you. I could not in a million years ask for anything more wonderful than being allowed to be myself on the internet for a living. That's just crazy to me. It's a dream come true. And I say it all the time, but if there's anything that you guys have taught me, it's that my wildest dreams aren't wild enough. So let's dream big this year. I'll see you guys there.